Let's get one thing straight. Power isn't fair. It doesn't care how nice you are, how much good you do, or how many people you help. In fact, power often gravitates toward those who are ruthless, cunning, and willing to bend the rules. If you're a good person, you've probably noticed this already. The world doesn't always reward kindness or honesty. You might work hard, play by the rules, and still watch as those who don't rise to the top. So, what gives? Why do good people often fail, while the world seems to reward those who play dirty? That's where Machiavelli comes in. Though long gone, his ideas remain profoundly relevant, especially when it comes to power and politics. In his infamous work, The Prince, Machiavelli delivers a sobering reality check. Power isn't about being good, it's about being effective. He argued that good intentions rarely triumph. Instead, power is about strategy, manipulation, and sometimes outright cruelty. So, let's take a deep dive into Machiavelli's lessons on power and explore why good people often fail and what they can do about it. Machiavelli's view on power. It's not pretty. Niccolo Machiavelli, a 16th century political philosopher, wasn't known for warm and fuzzy ideas about governance. The Prince was a guide to acquiring and holding power, and it didn't hinge on kindness or morality. In fact, it marked a stark departure from the concept of the benevolent ruler. According to Machiavelli, a ruler's primary goal is stability, and achieving stability often requires morally questionable choices. His most famous advice: a ruler should not focus on being good, but on appearing good. This doesn't mean good leaders don't exist, but rather that effective leaders understand the game of power. For example, Machiavelli argued it's better to be feared than loved, as fear is more reliable than affection. That's a hard truth for kind-hearted people to swallow, but it underscores a fundamental reality of power. Fear provides control. Machiavelli's perspective reveals that while it's easy to be virtuous and kind in the harsh world of power dynamics, kindness is often seen as weakness. Goodness doesn't guarantee success, but cunning and ruthlessness can. Why good people fail in power struggles. Let's face it, good people often fail in power struggles. Why? Because they think in terms of morality and fairness. They believe that hard work, treating others well, and following the rules will ultimately be rewarded. But Machiavelli would tell you the rules are often meant to be bent or broken if they obstruct progress or power. When good people encounter opposition, they usually respond with respect and dignity, assuming that doing the right thing will win others over. But in the ruthless game of power, this makes them easy targets. They're predictable. Their actions are transparent. Their opponents can, and often do, exploit these weaknesses. Meanwhile, the ruthless study their adversaries' weaknesses and use them to their advantage. Machiavelli warns that good people fail because they underestimate the lengths others will go to maintain or seize power. They mistakenly assume everyone plays by the same ethical standards. In truth, many are willing to engage in deception, manipulation, and betrayal without a shred of guilt. For Machiavelli, intention doesn't matter. Outcomes do. Playing the long game of power often requires actions that good people would find unthinkable. The complicated balance, virtue versus power. Now don't get it twisted. Machiavelli doesn't argue that being good is impossible. He simply claims that goodness alone isn't enough. To wield power effectively, one must be prepared to set aside personal morality in favor of greater goals, like success, stability, and control. Consider the most successful leaders in history. Many had a ruthless side. They made difficult decisions, betrayed allies, and burned bridges when necessary. But those actions secured their power. Machiavelli's point is that virtue is valuable if it helps maintain control. If virtue gets in the way, it must be compromised because inaction often leads to failure. How good people can learn from Machiavelli. So, how can good people learn from Machiavelli without losing their integrity? His ideas, while harsh, contain valuable lessons. First, Machiavelli emphasizes adaptability. Power doesn't reward intentions, it rewards results. This means being willing to take shortcuts, think outside the box, and adapt to changing circumstances. Good people must learn to make alliances, show generosity when it serves their goals, and assert strength when necessary. Second, perception is everything. The world often judges based on appearances. People admire a leader who seems virtuous, even if they aren't. Machiavelli understood this well. He wasn't advocating for outright deceit, but for strategic presentation. Craft your image, own your narrative, and don't let transparency become a liability. The true cost of power. At its core, Machiavelli's lesson isn't about abandoning who you are, it's about understanding the rules of the game. Good people fail when they cling to the belief that doing the right thing will naturally lead to rewards. In a world governed by power dynamics, this is often a losing strategy. The takeaway? You can still be a good person, but don't be naive. Recognize that power demands a different set of rules. Sometimes you need to be strategic, even ruthless, to achieve your goals. You don't have to abandon your values, but you must be willing to adapt them for the greater good and your own success. Machiavelli's lessons are dark, but they're rooted in reality. If you want to thrive in the game of power, you'd be wise to heed them. If you found this deep dive into Machiavelli's strategies insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this with someone who could use a little Machiavellian wisdom. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because power waits for no one. Stay sharp, stay strategic, and we'll see you in the next one.